So there's two things that I look for when it comes to identifying a winning territory. So the first thing that I look at is I look at the population size. So what you want to do here, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. We're going to go to Google, and I have a search saved already. And I find a lot of people have a good idea of where they want to start just based on like, they want to look at their own area to see if that works. Take that county in the state and type in population into Google. And what you're going to do is scroll down to see the population size. This right here shows 1.5 million people, which is an amazing population size. Lots of room for growth and lots of people buying and selling. We want this number here to be a minimum of 250,000 people. The second thing we look at is we look at the median home price in that area. It's the most common type of house being bought and sold. It's the house that everybody wants and can afford. You're going to do another Google search and you're going to type in the county, state, median home price. You're going to come down through here through Zillow and you're going to click this link and it's going to show you what the median home price is. And what we want here is a minimum median home price of $200,000. Because any less than 200,000, you're going to get more in those rural territories. And there's also a max for this too. We don't like to have territories that are any greater than 450,000. We find when you go past that 450, the issue there is you're getting into one of those types of territories where it's going to be harder to do deals because there's a lot of demand in that territory. The next thing I'm going to share with you guys is knowing the laws of your state is incredibly important. Okay, not all states have the same opportunity. There are certain laws in certain states that prevent you from wholesaling without a license. So I really encourage you to either get a mentor or talk with a real estate attorney to identify what those laws are to make sure that you're operating and that you're compliant. All right, so growing your power team, right? So let's talk about what that looks like and how you can do deals virtually. So first thing you want to do is you want to get a property inspector on your team. And I'm not talking about a traditional property inspector where they do like a 4-point inspection of properties. No, we just call them that. What it is, actually, it's a local realtor. Okay, we love local realtors because they drive the properties for us. They take pictures for us. They oversee our group showings with cash buyers, and they're already familiar with doing these things. And so there's barely anything you have to teach them. They just take pictures on their cell phone. They upload them to like a Google link and they send them back to us and then we can see the condition of the property. We do this after we get the property under contract with the seller. The next thing is having a title company, an investor-friendly title company. The best way to do this, guys, is go into an investor-friendly Facebook group. You want to make a post being like, hey, who's the best title company to work with for wholesalers? And then the person that gets recommended 3 times, that's who you want to go with. Let's move on to the next step here, which is picking a marketing channel. So when you're first getting started, like you want to keep your overhead low. I don't care if someone comes to me and they say, Chris, I have $10,000 to invest in marketing. What should I do? Or if someone comes to me and says, I have zero budget to do marketing, like what should I do? I'm always recommending the same thing because you got to put you got to earn your stripes in the beginning, right? Like you got to put in the time, got to understand what these conversations, how these conversations with sellers go before you start dropping a lot of money on marketing. Otherwise, you're going to lose a lot of money on marketing. So there's only one channel that I'd recommend when you're first getting started, and that is cold calling. The reason I recommend that is simply because, again, cold calling it gives you instant contact with sellers. You can pick up a phone right today and talk with a motivated seller. Like, think how powerful that is. It's low overhead. You can get started cold calling anywhere from $0 to $300 a month. It builds an invaluable skill set, guys. 90 days of cold calling is going to give you a 10-year education in sales and marketing. But here's the thing. The more that you practice, the better that you get. And as your phone skills improve, you're going to see better results from other marketing too. Because if you can close a deal with cold calling, like you can close a deal with anything. But there comes a mindset along with this and having success with it. A lot of people are uncomfortable making phones. I have a background in sales, and when I first got into real estate, I was uncomfortable making calls to sellers because I didn't know what to say. But in reality, these are limiting beliefs that hold us back and keep us stuck, right? So I want you all to take this belief into your next call. I'm going to be a blessing to the people I call, and it's up to them if they are open to receive it. It is a blessing for sellers to talk to you versus someone else who doesn't care about them and their situation. And if they can do that, that truly is a blessing. So here's the thing, guys. People mess this up over the phone constantly, and that is sounding like a boring person that nobody wants to talk to, right? So the way to fix this, guys, there's a reason the catchphrase smile and dial. It's because a smile can actually be heard through the phone. So once you have that smile, you have permission to dial. You sound how you look, get a small mirror on Amazon, put it on your desk, and check that mirror. And if you have the smile, start dialing and make it happen. Another thing that trips a lot of people up when it comes to cold calling is they quit before they start because they wait too long to make a call. And they think about all the bad things that could happen, the things that the sellers could say, things like that, right? And then they're like, I'll call tomorrow. So the best way to do this is if you set aside a time block, like you set aside a specific amount of time to dial, just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pick up the phone and make your first call. Doesn't matter if you stutter, mess up, whatever, just get that first call done and make it happen. But consistency is important. 2 to 3 hours a day, every single day, put in that time, make those calls. Every single no that you get out of the way gets you closer to that yes. That's why your first deal is the hardest, right? Because you're putting in that time, you're building that consistency muscle. And then your second deal typically happens right away. It's because you've done all that work, you've done the follow-ups and everything, and the people who weren't ready to sell in the beginning are ready to sell now. And that's why you get that second deal right after that. So let's dive into cash buyers here. How do you avoid dropping as few deals as possible? Am I saying you're never going to drop a deal? No, not at all, right? Matter of fact, when you're first getting started, you're probably going to drop around 50 to 55% of the deals you put under contract just because you're learning, right? But as you get better, the number that you want to look at is 75%. That's the number that if you can get 75% of the deals you put under contract across the finish line, then you are doing great. So the FYBF method, a lot of people are told that if you find a good deal, it'll sell itself. The problem with this concept is that the majority of people getting started, like they don't know what a good deal is, so how could it sell itself? So what you want to do instead is you want to grow a list of buyers, grow your buyers list first, find out what those guys want, the types of properties they want, areas they want to avoid, types of properties they don't want, areas they don't want. And then what you want to do is take all that criteria, pull your lists in DealMachine around that criteria and get deals under contract. And when you get deals under contract, bring it to those buyers. And when you do that, wholesaling becomes so much easier. You're no longer locking up deals in areas that buyers don't want, types of properties buyers don't want, right? You've gotten real feedback from real buyers and you're just going and getting those deals. So if you're just getting started, or if you've been doing this for a long time, you're starting in a new territory, your goal is to get 50 cash buyers. Now, for the newbies on here, that might sound like a lot, but it's actually a lot easier than you think. And you do this, a ninja trick that one of my clients used to get 100 cash buyers in a week is they were joining a new territory, a new market, new state, right? So they looked for real estate investment Facebook groups in that state, in the county that they were looking to start in. They joined all of those. Then what they did is they saw wholesalers posting deals in those groups. And then in the comments section of the wholesaler's deal, it says, I'm a buyer, I'm a buyer, I'm a buyer, I'm a buyer. Then what they did is they added these people as a friend on Facebook, sent them a DM and said, hey, I saw you commented on this deal in this Facebook group. Is this like a one-off purchase you were looking to buy, or are you looking to buy more? Then they're going to say, no, I'm looking to buy more. Cool. What types of properties you're looking for, where you're looking, have that conversation. You can build a massive buyers list if you do that for just 1 hour a day. And there's 3 types of buyers. So you should have 3 contacts on your list: cash buyers, wholesalers, realtors. Cash buyers, again, you can find these in Facebook groups. This is where the majority of our buyers have come from. Anyone who says real buyers aren't in Facebook groups has no idea what they're talking about. Wholesalers, right? They are not your competition. A lot of people think that other wholesalers are your competition. You can't do deals together. They can't bring buyers to your deals. Couldn't be further from the truth, guys. They have relationships you don't. If you have 3 wholesalers on your list and each of those wholesalers have a buyer's list of 1,000 people, that's 3,000 buyers have access to from working with those wholesalers. And then lastly is realtors. They're not your competition. They're not going to snake your deal. Realtors are bound by a code of ethics that they can't do that. So realtors can be great to have on your list, and you can find them in Facebook groups, Zillow.com, and also by going on realtor.com as well. So when it comes to motivated sellers, right? A lot of people get this wrong. So a lot of people will target the wrong sellers and they're like, my sellers aren't motivated. Why? Right? It's just simply they're targeting the wrong people. People need to have real motivation right now. Mortgage rates are high right now. And a lot of the retail buyers, people who are buying these properties that have been fixed up by your cash buyers are sitting on the sidelines right now. Cash is king. We're entering into the golden age of wholesaling right now. So let's talk about marketing lists. So what sellers do you actually market to today that can put you in front of motivated homeowners? Number one, the rule of marketing, anybody you market to right now must have motivation. So what does that look like? These are some of the lists right now that are working the best for us right now in today's market because they have motivation, right? Virtual driving for dollars, it's a little tedious to do, but it works really well because you can get a good idea as far as the house condition on the outside, and whatever condition the house is on the outside is a good chance it's probably in worse condition on the inside. So this is something you can have a virtual assistant do for you and get deals that way. Senior owners, these are people who have owned their property. They've lived in the same property for 25 years. People are wanting to downsize, sell their homes, and move in with the kids so they can spend more time and live out the remainder of their life. You're not allowed to market to just an absentee list, right? Absentee lists, they don't work. I don't care what anybody says, just an absentee list. So we have to add a layer of motivation on that, okay? And that is the tired landlord list. So this is a list of absentee owners who have owned a property for anywhere from 10 to 15 years. And chances are, after owning this thing for 10 to 15 years, they are tired of tenants and toilets and they are ready to move on. Now, if you're limited on marketing budget, I'm gonna give you guys a little sneak attack here that you can do. If you're sending mail through DealMachine, or if you are looking for a smaller list to call and just like really hammer this thing, tired landlords who live out of state, then the properties they own is a smoking hot list. Because think about this. They live out of state, they own property in another state, they've had it for 10 to 15 years, chances are, if you add on like even another filter on that, like vacant or pre-foreclosure, that can be a big reason for motivation right there. Vacant properties are always going to be hot, no matter what type of market we're in. A property's vacant for a reason. Inherited are great properties as well. Inherited properties, these people have had family that's passed away. They became a landlord by accident. They don't want these properties. A lot of time they bring back painful memories and they just want to get these things sold. Probate's a good list too. A little tedious to pull from the local county. Code violations are amazing, right? This is properties where they're literally getting fined every single day, depending on the county, because of the condition of their property, right? Gold. Delinquent tax lists. Lists of properties that are behind on their taxes. They're 2 years behind or more. That's gold, right? Do not target a delinquent tax list that's less than 2 years behind. Pre-foreclosure. If you're brand new to this business, make sure you're not targeting a pre-foreclosure list that has an auction date set if you don't have a big buyer's list. You don't want to be the reason for someone losing their home. Divorce is also a very good list you can get from your local county. Bankruptcy, fire damage, these are all lists that have motivation. So the big thing, guys, is you can pull these lists, and then based on your budget or your time available, you can make them bigger or smaller by adding or taking away filters. The more motivation that you add, the smaller that list becomes and the more motivated that becomes as well. So skip trace the list, right? DealMachine makes it pretty simple. Gets phone numbers for the lists you upload, applies the phone numbers to all of them so you can pick up the phone and start making those calls. There's 4 things that you want to get on a call to identify if that is going to be a good deal or not. And I like to call these the 4 pillars of motivation. Pillar number 1 is price. How much is the seller hoping to get for the property? Number 2 is timeline. How soon are they looking to sell and close? Like, what are they thinking? What life situations are they going through right now that is causing them to sell faster or slower? Motivation. This is the one that most people spend the least amount of time on. Too many wholesalers, when they're first starting out and when they're in business for a while, they focus on price. Price does not matter, guys. It literally does not matter what the seller says. It all comes down to their why. If that why is strong enough, they will sell their property. And lastly is condition. So from there, you want to find out if the house has been remodeled in the last 10 years, and then get the age of the 4 big ticket items, which is roof, plumbing, AC, and electrical. And then if you have all that information, get that on every single call. Guys, you can easily put together an offer for these sellers. Step number 5, selling the deal. So you want to put together an email to get your deal out to your buyer's list, okay? If you're brand new, you can use MailChimp, it's free. So next, a big mistake I see wholesalers make is repair estimates. Too many wholesalers are giving guidance on things they know nothing about. If you haven't remodeled personally 5 houses yourself, then you have no business giving repair estimates. You're not a contractor, your buyers know it. Qualify buyers. And you qualify buyers by doing three things. The three things that you do is ask them their experience. How long have you been doing this for? I'm just curious. It's awesome we're connecting. Be a person, have a natural conversation. Next, you want to ask them, hey, just curious, like if we bring some deals to you, do you close with cash, use hard money? Like what do you use there? Just so I can kind of get an idea of where you're at. And then lastly, how quickly can you close? Some buyers say I can close as soon as the title's clear. I can close as soon as tomorrow. So it's really important to know those things, and that allow you to prioritize buyers when they're reaching out to make offers about your property. The biggest thing, guys, when it comes to marketing your deals, the highest and the best offer is not always your best offer. You want to also look at things like how quickly the buyer can close, how easy these guys are to work with. You really want to build those relationships with your buyers so you have people that are easy to work with and you can move forward. Lastly, guys, is close and get paid. So once you lock in your buyer, at that point you can make that money, and that's what we're all in this for and to do.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.